Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Francis Oyima Edet, coming to you live from here, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government declares Monday public holiday. Supreme Court fixes October 3rd for judgment in Kogi APC governorship primaries dispute. Plus, 14-year-old stabs 5 at Spanish school. We will bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin the news this afternoon from the national scene where, in commemoration of Nigeria's 63rd Independence Day anniversary, the federal government has declared Monday, October 2nd, 2023 as a public holiday. According to a statement by the ministry's permanent secretary, Dr. Oluwatoyin Akinlade, the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, made the declaration in Abuja on behalf of the federal government. The minister assured Nigerians of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration's continued commitment to tackling challenges facing the country. Tunji-Ojo said the greatness ahead of the country was achievable if all citizens worked together in unity. In the meantime, the federal government has said the report that President Bola Tinubu would announce a new wage award to workers on Independence Day is untrue. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, made this clarification in a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations, the Ministry of Labour, Olajide Oshodo. He noted that the report is false and misleading, as at no time did the Director of Information make such disclosure. Lalong further called on members of the public to ignore the report, stressing that it was a total fabrication by the reporter. Meanwhile, the federal government has said that Nigerian and United States governments have signed a Proliferation Resistance Optimization Pro-X statement in supporting Nigeria in the design, construction and commissioning processes of Nigeria's multipurpose research reactor NIRR-2. This is according to an executive summary of Nigeria's participation at the ongoing 67th regular session of the International Atomic Energy Agency IAEA General Conference held in Vienna, Austria. The Pro-X statement was signed by the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission and the U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration (NNSA). According to the NNSA, the Pro-X program reduces nuclear risks by supporting research through helping international partners design new research reactors and facilities that reduce the production of dangerous nuclear materials while optimizing reactor performance. From the Green Chambers, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has expressed concern that the annual budget of the National Assembly has remained unchanged for 13 years, thus by the impact of inflation and its associated consequences. In a statement issued by his Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Musa Krishi, the Speaker noted that the expenditure of the federal legislature has increased over this period without corresponding budgetary provisions to support it. Abbas made this statement during a courtesy visit by a delegation from the African Business Roundtable led by Executive Director West Africa, Dotun Ajayi, in Abuja. Reports say Abbas pointed out that during the 10th House tenure, that over 60 Parliament was established for friendship committees to improve relationships between the House and other parliaments across the world. He also added that the European Union had allocated 20 billion euros for sub-Saharan Africa. Meanwhile, The House of Representatives had her committee investigating the slow pace of the 45-kilometer Ijebu-Igbo-Itai-Ibadan road in Oyo State has summoned officials of the Federal Ministry of Works to appear before it today. The officials, the House said, are to speak on the controversy surrounding the re-award of the road project to another contractor without terminating the earlier one awarded to the first contractor. Chairman of the committee, Kwamoti Lowry, said in Abuja at the resumed hearing of the investigation after its oversight visit to the site on September 21st in Oyo and parts of Ogun State. Lowry said the probe panel would not hesitate to summon the Ministry of Works if the officials failed to give the necessary explanation regarding the controversies over the re-award of the said project. On labor matters, the National Deputy President of the Trade Union Congress, Tommy Atom, said nothing would stop the strike, noting that Nigerian workers were disenchanted with the federal government. He said that the unions had given the government sufficient time to address their demands, stressing that the workers would not allow themselves to be deceived any longer. Atom told newsmen that any fresh meeting with the federal government was pointless and asked Nigerians to brace for the long-drawn walkout.
Deliberated on the continued refusal of the federal government to engage in a meaningful and constructive dialogue within the ambit of good faith, given the 21 days ultimatum and the subsequent successful 2 days nationwide strike of the 5th and 6th of September and other meetings that were supposed to demonstrate the preparedness of the Nigerian workers to push through their decision to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike if their demands were not met.
Consequently, the NLC and TUC NEC in section resolved as follows. 1. To, in the spirit of the Independence Day celebration, and to demonstrate our resolve for a truly independent Nigeria, to take our destinies in our own hands and rescue our nation. 2. To embark on an indefinite and total shutdown of the nation beginning on 0 hours, Tuesday, the 3rd day of October 2023. 3. To direct all workers in Nigeria to withdraw their services from their respective workplaces commencing from the 3rd of October 2023. 4. To direct all affiliates and state councils to immediately start mobilizing accordingly for action to organize street protests and rally until government responds positively to our demands. 5. To enjoin all patriotic Nigerians to join hands across the nation to assist this government, put the people back at the center of its policies and programs.
Away from that, the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association has urged pet owners to keep their pets within their premises and ensure they're fully vaccinated against rabies. The national president of the association, Dr. Oluwatoyin Adetuberu, made the call in an interview with newsmen in Abuja in commemoration of World Rabies Day. Adetuberu therefore identified being a responsible dog or pet owner as a way forward towards reducing the burden of rabies in the country. The veterinarian, who described the challenges posed by rabies in the country as enormous and devastating, explained that anybody bitten by a rabid dog may not be productive, noting that there is no cure for rabies and the only way is to prevent it. World Rabies Day is commemorated annually on September 28 to raise awareness about rabies prevention and to highlight progress made towards defeating the disease. In a separate development, the Department of State Services, DSS, has announced the establishment of a new Directorate of Public Relations and Strategic Communications, DPRSC. According to a statement by the DSS, DPRSC, the new department, established by the Director General Yusuf Bichi, will be headed by the former Public Relations Officer of the DSS, Peter Funaya. It added that the establishment of the Directorate is part of efforts in sustaining its engagement with citizens and the public at large, as well as deepening democratic governance, transparency, and accountability. We move to judicial matters, where the Supreme Court has fixed October 3rd for judgment in a suit filed by Senator Smart Adeyemi challenging the conduct of the primary election of the All Progressives Congress (APC) for Kogi State governorship election. Senator Adeyemi is challenging the validity of the election, which produced Usman Ododo as APC's flag bearer for the November 11 governorship election. Adeyemi, who recently represented Kogi West Senatorial District in the Senate, claimed that the result brought out by APC in support of Ododo was fraudulent and invalid on the ground that the primary election was conducted on only 11 out of 239 wards in the state. Meanwhile, the governorship election petitions tribunal in Kaduna State has dismissed the preliminary objection filed by the state governor, Uba Sani, on the timeliness of the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its governorship candidate Issa Shiro. Sani's legal team argued that the petition put forward by the petitioners was filed outside the 21-day window allowed by the law. In response, the three-man panel led by Justice Victor Oviawi affirmed that the petition was filed on April 10, 2023, thereby dismissing the arguments of Sani, the second respondent. We move now to Africa, where the authorities in Burkina Faso say 4 army officers have been detained for questioning a day after the military government announced it had thwarted a coup attempt. The military prosecutor's office also said 2 officers were on the run. It is almost a year since Captain Ibrahim Traore seized power, a second coup in the country in 8 months. The 3 have been signs of tension within the military. A military prosecutor says an investigation has begun and has appealed for weaknesses following what he called attempts at destabilizing the country. In Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, military men used a deteriorating security situation as justification for seizing power. Meanwhile, thousands of UN troops and French soldiers are leaving the region after being ordered out. Still in Africa, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir is reportedly in Moscow for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Kiir's office, in a statement, said the meeting with the Russian president today will discuss prospects for the development of bilateral relations in various areas, as well as regional and international issues. He noted that the visit aims at deepening diplomatic relations and explore other ideas and areas of cooperation and trade, investment opportunities, and security. The statement added that 2 leaders will also discuss the lifting of an arms embargo and targeted sanctions imposed on individuals in South Sudan. To the foreign scene now, where a 14-year-old boy described by fellow pupils as hot-headed today stabbed 3 teachers and 2 students in a school in southern Spain before being overpowered. Police spokesman Andrés Dominguez told reporters at the scene that the boy, who has not been named, allegedly stabbed the 5 victims repeatedly shortly after classes started at the school in Jerez de la Frontera. The spokesman was unable to comment on the extent of the injuries, but Spanish media said 1 teacher was in serious condition after being stabbed in the eye, while the rest suffered light injuries. The attack caused alarm in Spain, where violent crime is fairly rare. According to reports, parents rushed to the school after hearing about the stabbing, gathering outside the gates, which were cordoned off by police. Meanwhile, several students told Spanish media that the boy often got into fights and was quick-tempered. Still on the foreign scene, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said that Kyiv's troops are gradually gaining ground in their sweeping counter-offensive against tight Russian defense lines in southern Ukraine. Stoltenberg made this known during an unannounced visit to Kyiv. The NATO Secretary noted that Ukrainians are fighting for their families, future, and freedom. saying Moscow is fighting for imperial delusions. It disclosed that Ukraine has strong backing from 31 NATO allies and many partners, adding that more than 50 nations support and supply aid to the country, and over 140 nations stood up for their sovereignty at the United Nations. Still to come in the news, Manchester City tops in United States fellowship base. To stay with us. PSW, liquefied petroleum gas retailers, LPGR, and all other allied workers in the value chain of petroleum products distribution must comply with the strike from midnight of Tuesday, October 3rd. Still in business, the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NEITI) has said that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) did not pay approximately 2.8 trillion naira in taxes to the federal government in 2022. In its newly released 2021 Oil and Gas Industry Report, NEITI stated that of about 3.5 trillion naira owed to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission during the period under review, NNPCL was owing more than 80% of the outstanding tax collectible revenues. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akumo, represented by the Permanent Secretary of Political and Economic Affairs, Iswabana Nko, during the unveiling of the report, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to support and deepen the implementation of the recommendations of the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative in Nigeria. To help down where the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has deployed 9.3 million doses of diphtheria vaccines to affected states in Nigeria following the most severe diphtheria outbreak in recent global history. A statement by UNICEF Communication Assistant Nchekwebe Nwosu Igbo said the doses were deployed to Kano, Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, Katsina, Kaduna and Jigawa states. The statement noted that 4 million doses were dispatched to Kano, the epicenter of the outbreak. According to the statement, another 4 million doses were being procured and would be handed over to the government in the coming weeks. The outbreak has reportedly resulted in over 11,500 suspected cases, claiming 453 lives, with more than 7,000 confirmed cases, mostly children. Still in health, public health physicians in Lagos State have said that for Nigeria to achieve universal health coverage, UHC, and sustainable development goals by the year 2030, the country must strengthen and reposition the primary healthcare system. According to them, strengthening the primary healthcare system through adequate financing and finance management is essential in addressing the challenges militating against the achievement of UHC as well as brain drain. The physicians noted that UHC is about ensuring that everyone, everywhere, the rich and poor, the young and old, regardless of race or education, equally access quality and essential health services free of financial hardship, but in crisis and calm. The medical experts who spoke at the 2023 conference of the Association of Medical Officers of Health of Nigeria Lagos State Chapter said the required investment must be made, particularly in strengthening subnational governance and ownership through the full implementation of primary health care under one roof. To the exciting world of sport, where Manchester City are the second most supported European club among followers in the United States. Data has Pep Guardiola and treble-winning Manchester City ranked above European giants such as Barcelona, Liverpool and Real Madrid. This is according to data thrown up by a survey carried out by Statista Consumer Insights and relayed by casinos and linked via social media. The study looked at football fans stateside and based result on a percentage. Pep Guardiola and his treble winners are thought to be the joint second most followed European club owner over in the United States right now, with an 8% share. Meanwhile, Chelsea are the other team in second place. Still in sports, police today raided Spain's football refereeing headquarters as part of a probe into claims FC Barcelona paid for favorable decisions in a fresh blow for Spain's scandal-hit football association. A search was ordered by the judge investigating the so-called Negreira case involving payments allegedly made to a firm owned by former top refereeing official Jose Maria Enriquez Negreira. Reports say police began the search early today at the offices of the CTA Referees Technical Committee located at the Ref Football Federation headquarters on the outskirts of Madrid. And while the Barcelona court ordered the search as part of the investigation into the suspect payments made by the Catalan club to Negreira. On our entertainment news, the actor Sir Michael Gabon has reportedly died at the age of 82. He was best known for playing Professor Albus Dumbledore in 6 of the 8 Harry Potter's films. Sir Michael also appeared in Fantastic Mr. Fox, played French detective Margaret, and starred in The Singing Detective. His widow and son said their beloved husband and father died peacefully with his family by his side after suffering from pneumonia. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You've been watching Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Francis Oyema, edit. Many thanks for being there and do enjoy the rest of your day.